Well, we completely messed up the World's 2021 predictions, and then we messed up the MSI 2022 predictions. So what do we say? Third time's a charm, and we'll do. Not only will we do World's 2022 predictions, but we're going to do extremely premature World's 2022 predictions before playoffs are even locked for any region. We're just gonna go ahead and full send it here. I mean, we're gonna make this pretty quick. It's not gonna be super detailed. It obviously can't be, but I just want to get my thoughts out now, so that way, if I'm wrong and I look like an idiot, I can just be like, oh, psh, I did my predictions in like July, right? But then if they're right, then I could just be like, oh, I'm a god. I'm the god of predictions. So anyway, here we go. I have the regions pulled up, and we're just going to go through and fill out all these slots with whatever teams I think are going to be moving on to Worlds. So we're going to start off with the easy ones, the minor regions. So for the VCS, I mean, I think this is pretty stock standard. I mean, admittedly, I don't know much about the VCS, but every single time I watch any of their games or check any of their stats, it's always a Gigabyte Marines absolutely demolishing everybody. And then Saigon Buffalo was at MSI and didn't do all that bad. So we'll just go with those two, make it easy. Next we'll do CB LOL. So if we go over here and we look at CB LOL, you'll see that these standings are actually kind of wacky because Red Kalunga, the team who represented CB LOL at Worlds and MSI, is tied second with Pain Gaming, who is the other team that usually represents. And like if we click on them, you can see that they've still got a lot of the same players that everybody knows and loves. The only thing that would really stick out to me is that Pain Gaming no longer has BRTT, but the first seed is this team called Furia. But my hot take for this region is that I have 100% faith. Okay, I'm not gonna say 100%. That's just completely okay. I have faith in Loud Gaming to take the CB LOL world spot. Now, right now they're fourth, but they were, if I remember correctly, I believe they were 5-6 at one point, and now they're 10-6. It was either that or 6-6. Either way, they're on a pretty fat win streak. And also, if you just look at their roster, like the two things that stick out immediately is that they have Robo and Tanones. And if there's anything about the CB LOL, it's that I absolutely love Tanones. Think that he can definitely show up on a world stage and not be a complete embarrassment. So I'm going to put my cards into the Loud basket for the CB LOL. That's definitely not going to happen. But, we can give it a shot. Next we have LJL. Again, this one's really easy. It's going to be DFM. Just to kind of get the point across. There they are at the top. The only other team that's close is Sengoku Gaming. Fun fact, V3 Esports, now that they are 0-14, are officially the losingest League of Legends team of all time. They have lost more games in a row than Vevictus Gaming, or Vevictus Esports, which is, kind of crazy. So good job, V3. But, we're just going to go DFM here. LLA, again, this might be a little bit of, favoritism bias, but I believe that Gillette Infinity can make the miracle lower bracket stomp to take that world spot. They're going to have to do every single game possible because they're starting out in lower bracket round 1. As you can see from the regular season, they finished 5th, not that good. Again, the team from MSI, only 4th. Infinity, I mean, they've got mostly the same people that they did before. I do like this roster. Could make it to play-ins and go, one win, so we'll go Infinity for the LLA. Then LCO, okay, you guys are going to look at this. I mean, bam, there it is, the Chiefs, 19-0. No other team is even close. Click on Chiefs, they've got some familiar players. They got Babip, Aladoric, Raze, Tally, everybody knows those names from other international competitions. Raze played a little bit in the LCS with Immortals. I actually liked him on Immortals. I kind of wish he wasn't kicked off or left or whatever happened there. But yeah, for this one, it's going to be an easy Chiefs. So what is their... Okay, CHF. Alright, TCL. This is the region that I always get wrong because I always super overrate them. And I'm always like, oh, they're going to compete with LCS and LEC this year. And then they always go like 1-5. So not really doing me the best. But once again, I have some TCL copium because the team that is 14-0 is none other than the team with Balulu, who is my favorite TCL player. I think he's absolutely insane. Just straight up one of the best competitive Zoes in the world. So, of course, for TCL, we're going to go NASR. If I get all of these right, that's like some miracle work, but like nobody expects you to get these right. Nobody knows these teams anyway. So now we'll move on to some teams that we actually do know, and we're going to start it off with something interesting, which is look at the PCS standings. PCS has historically been like a 1-2 region with not a lot of depth to it, but these teams are stacked. Like Beyond Gaming is 6th, and this team is a team with like Husha in it. Like Husha was the carry when Doggo was on that team last year, and they're 6th. And then you like scroll through the other teams, and like you have names that you know, like Holo is a big name. You go to J Team, and you have Uniboy, and then obviously you have PSG with Kaiwing, Unifine, and Hanabi. Gory is on this team, which I actually didn't know. That's kind of surprising because I really liked Gory last year when he was in the LCK. So I like that team a lot. And then the number 1 team right now is Deep Cross Gaming with a couple of names that I've never heard of. So part of me kind of wants to just like go full bias here and then just slam PSG and J Team. You know, I'm just going to do that because I have no big analysis for the PCS. Haven't really followed them too much. I'm just going purely off of what my heart desires. There we go. 1 seed is PSG, 2 seed is J Team. Oh, I guess I should also preface is that these are in seeded order. Moving on to the LCS. LCS, I mean, we have Evil Geniuses at the top, 100 Thieves, Cloud9, CLG, Team Liquid. And I guess maybe FlyQuest. So these are the 6 teams that could possibly take the 3 slots. But of these teams, there are 2 teams that I have absolutely no faith in whatsoever, those being FlyQuest and 100 Thieves. I'm probably going to get some big old flame for not thinking 100 Thieves is making it. I mean, they did go 3-3 last year in a group with T1 and EDG, yes. But at the same time, I also thought they were the least impressive and most one-dimensional team at Worlds last year, and I don't think they've changed anything. Look, if they were playing Tenacity, like if Someday would sub out for Tenacity and Tenacity had a full split to develop, I'm like all 100 Thieves. 100 Thieves makes quarterfinals, blah, 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 whatever. But in the current moment, I think it's going to be EG is the 1 seed, and then I'm actually going to go Cloud9 as the 2 seed, which means that my 3 seed is either TL or CLG. I really like the CLG roster. Ever since day 1, before any games were played, I had faith that CLG could be like 5th or 6th. I didn't think they were going to be tied for 3rd. They were actually winning at one point, like the entire region, which I was not expecting at all. But like Big Dokes, obviously, he was tearing it up in Challengers queue. I had big faith in him. Luger and Poom, I thought was a bot lane that had a lot of promise. And I mean, like Contracts and Palafox are pretty okay. So, you know, the roster definitely has some big upsides. But I mean, they're playing against this TL roster, which is technically pretty crazy roster. I mean, they really haven't done that much. Their strategy is kind of to do nothing and lose. But Whippo said on stream that if TL goes as the 3rd seed, then he'll shave his head. And so, you know, we'll just go with that because I want to see him shave his head. So sorry, CLG, but I would have CLG as 4th, and I don't have faith in 100 Thieves in making it. So we'll see what happens there. Now let's move on to LEC. LEC, these major regions I've already decided. Like, I already know exactly what I'm picking here. So we have Mad Lions, then Rogue, Vitality, XL, G2, Misfits. I would say that there in this region, there are actually 8 teams that could take those 4 slots, and I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I'd be kind of surprised if Astralis did it, or if Misfits did it, but like, I mean, they're up here, so we might as well mention them. But yeah, I mean, Misfits is interesting because they started 0-4, I think it was 0-4. It might have been 0-5, probably 0-4, which means that they've been doing really well in the back half of the season. Obviously, Misfits has my favorite LEC player, VTO. I think VTO is absolutely insane. Ever since that first split when he was with Razork, where Misfits finished like middle of the pack, I was saying VTO is the best mid laner in LEC. I mean, some people still don't think that. Most people still don't think that, but I still think that, and I'm going to carry that until he retires probably. So, unfortunately, I just don't think Misfits has what it takes to win series off of the top teams. Same thing with Astralis. It's kind of surprising that they're here. I mean, it's cool to see them here, but again, would be very surprised to see them make the playoffs. Fnatic has been on a little bit of a slump. I don't really have faith in them. And Rogue is on a massive loss streak. And also, they're just known to historically choke playoffs, so I don't want to go with them either. So my seedings in exact order are LEC. My 1 seed, I'm going to have Mad Lions. Then for my 2 seed, I'm going to have G2. Then my 3 seed will be XL. And then my 4th seed will be Vitality. I mean, when was the last time Perks didn't make playoffs? I mean, even though he's kind of got some extremely suspicious last few seasons, like it's still like he's had some pretty good games this season. Like the entire season he's been averaging like plus 15 CS at 15 minutes, which is always an important stat. He had some crazy pop-off games where he went like 10-0 in one of them, I think. So he's doing relatively well. I think Vitality is starting to play more at the standard of what people thought they were going to do. And then I just really like the XL roster. I mean, I think that Marcoon is a super great jungler. I think he's definitely got potential to be top 2 or best jungler in LEC in the future. So I look forward to seeing him a lot. I also think that moving Mickey X to the roster was like one of the greatest decisions an org has ever made. Like he's been so good for the team, absolutely carrying them in some of their games. So I think XL can make it. And then obviously it's just tough to count out G2. Like even though they're not doing so hot right now, it just feels bad not having G2 somewhere in there. So that's my 4 from the LEC. Now if we move to the LCK, top 3 is pretty stock standard, I think. I actually am going to say T1 is going to take the 1 seed. Gen G did beat T1 in the best of 3, but Chovy historically has not once in his entire career ever beaten Faker in a best of 5. And also the T1 roster is kind of crazy, and if you look at a lot of their losses, they have been experimenting with a lot of weird picks. So, you know, I'm not too worried about them. I do think they'll still take the 1 seed. Generation Gaming with the 2 seed, and then Damwon with the 3rd seed. Then the 4th seed is a little bit of a conversation. You have, most people are saying Live DRX. Not many people talking about KT. I don't really care about KT either. For me, it's also between like Live and DRX and Kwangdong. Look, Kwangdong has had some really low moments. Like they dropped the game against Hama Life Esports, and obviously like their one big win was against T1. But like the main reason why I like Kwangdong Freak so much is because of this man right here, Keen. Absolutely a monster. I mean, like look at their roster. They should be really good. Keen, Fate, Teddy, Hoyt. Like that's a super strong 4-core right there. So I don't know why they're doing so badly. In the event that they end up making playoffs somehow, I actually do think that they might be able to clutch it out. But I mean, like Live Sandbox is just looking really good right now, especially Dove and Prince. A lot of people didn't like Dove in the first split, but I watched him play 1 game of Tryndamere in Spring Split and was super impressed by it. And then he's been doing well this season, so you know what? I actually like him a lot. Prince has had some nice pop-off moments. I like his Aphelios. And I mean, like, Closer was supposed to be, I believe, like he was supposed to replace Faker at one point. But I mean, like, he's doing pretty well. He had a pop-off Akali game. Krako was on the team last year, so he's good too. So I'm actually going to give my 4th seed to Live Sandbox. Although in my heart, it's Kwangdong Freaks, but there's a chance they don't even make playoffs. So it's like, why would I bother? All right, here we go. LPL. With LPL, there's like a huge playoff race going on. There are currently 12 teams that could theoretically make playoffs. I mean, BLG is definitely on the outside looking in. Thundertalk Gaming is in a good position. FPX is like outside looking in. LNG and Oh My God are pretty solid. And then Anyone's Legend is basically out at this point. So of the teams that could make it, it's pretty much Thundertalk, Oh My God, and then 6 through 1. Those are like what we're looking at here. For me, LPL's number 1 seed right now is JDG. If you look at their game score, it is a little bit not super impressive, but I mean, if you just look at their roster, right? Like, Kanavi Yagao might be the best mid-jungle in the LPL right now. Missing is probably, oh my god, dude. Missing played this game on Renata, like maybe a week ago, and that game just blew my mind. Missing is absolutely just a crazy player when he needs to be. Like, I would feel okay saying he's the best support in the league right now. Then, I mean, Victory 5 is having a little bit of a slump. They've recently subbed in XLB for Karsa, because Karsa's not been playing super hot. So we'll see on that. I think that the other lock is Top Esports. They've been looking crazy. I mean, they have Knight, Knight, the best player to never win anything, but never win anything internationally. But, like, Knight is just... I really, really like Knight. I think he's like top 5 mid laners of all time, period. Wayward has been extremely surprisingly good. Jackie Love has the top lane icon for some reason, but he's an ADC. But yeah, I mean, like, Top Esports is definitely going to be a team that will contest for that spot, I think, which leaves 2 more spots. Look, I okay. It's the same thing for Kwangdong Freaks. Is that in my heart, I really want Oh My God to make it. Look, if we could see this roster in Worlds, that would be like, that would absolutely be Christmas come early. It would be Solo Kill King Shanji, Cream, who's my favorite mid laner in the LPL, Abel with his famous flash in and instantly lose the game Aphelios play. I mean, like he's Abel is such a psychopath. Like if you watch him play, it's like he's either doing the game winning or the game losing play always. It's amazing. And then like every single player on this team has some kind of like mental sickening condition that just makes them want to constantly fight just all the time, and they're super fun to watch, especially Cream. I've been following Cream for a couple of years now, and I think he's like definitely the most entertaining player to watch in the LPL. Really happy he didn't go to TSM since that was a rumor floating around. But I mean, will OMG make it to Worlds? God, I hope so, but probably not. You have these four teams fighting for the last two spots. Here's my kind of hot take, is that I do think that EDG could make it to Worlds if they play Junjia. If they go back to JJ, I don't think so, but I've been super high on Junjia for the last couple of years. I have watched this man absolutely destroy solo queue for the longest time. Like I have in my list of like top players in every role of all time, which includes competitive and solo queue players, I have Junjia as like top 3 junglers of all time, purely just because of the shit he's done in solo queue. Like he's crazy in solo queue. It hasn't necessarily translated to pro just yet, but he played a couple of games for EDG so far. JJ's been sitting out the last couple, and I mean like EDG's been winning, so I think EDG definitely could make it if they play Junjia. Weibo's kind of had a little bit of a slump. I mean, Weibo basically just depends on, is the Shy carrying them or not. So I feel like they're a little bit too coin flip for me, which means that as boring as it is, I'm probably just going to go RNG V5. Although I am going to go V5 as 4 seed because they haven't been looking as great recently. I hope something changes in playoffs. I really think that V5 definitely has the potential to just straight up win Worlds. But at the moment, they're looking kind of sad. With that, that's actually just all the teams that I think will make it. I could definitely fucking throw OMG in here somewhere and Kwangdong Freaks in there somewhere. That's what I'm really hoping for. That I'm really hoping for something like this to happen. I mean, it's not going to, but it would be amazing. But yeah, that is my premature Worlds predictions before playoff starts, who I think will be making Worlds. So it'll be certainly fun to go back and check and see that I got like maybe 10 of the teams correct. So yeah, there we go. Super short video, no analysis at all, but there it is.